So we had no set plan. No one gave us a roadmap to say this is how you're gonna have to, start a business, start selling high-level consulting, result-driven services for businesses, get people to pay you for results, right? You can scale up a business that way. So no one told us that we can do that. No friends, especially not our parents. Our parents were like, stay in school,
for sure,
old school, traditional. So everyone and their mother would basically tell us, what are you thinking? What's going on, guys? Jonathan here, co-founder of Expandify Marketing, social media king on Instagram. I'm here to talk business, entrepreneurship, marketing, everything about that. It's LOWKEY MTL. Let's get it going.
Prochaine station.
LOWKEY MTL.
Yeah, man, happy to sit down with you. It's a pleasure. How we started is, basically humble beginnings, to be really honest with you. It started in about 2016. I actually have a co-founder, Nicholas, he's my partner, here at the company Expandify, what we're running today. It's a digital marketing agency. We focus mainly on Facebook, paid advertising for e-commerce brands, supplement companies, stuff like that. Basically scaling businesses up, e-commerce businesses up using result-driven advertising on the web. Before we got to that, we were kind of all over the place. And we basically started off, believe it or not, started taking online education. So we started buying some programs online on the internet.
For yourselves?
For ourselves.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, exactly. So we invested.
This is like 2016?
This is in 2016.
Yeah, okay.
This is in 2016. So
yeah, nobody really did that back then.
Right. So it was kind of like the start of all of the online education platform type things. And so me and my partner, Nick, we were college students. We were at John Abbott. We're both working part-time at a restaurant in the West Island.
What restaurant?
It was Mundo at the time. Mundo Trattoria. It's an Italian restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Kirkland. Funny enough, they became one of our first clients when we actually formed the company. They were our second actual paying client. So it kind of worked out. We kind of leveraged them, while we were young, kind of worked there part-time. And then they were our very first client in the food niche.
That's interesting that they were willing to hire you guys while you guys were working for them.
Yeah, for sure. So I had an amazing relationship with one of the owners. His name was Johnny. We're still friends to this day. He was actually over last night. We had a bottle of wine with him and a couple other friends. So we're still in touch. 10 years later, we're still buddies.
How did that conversation go? Like what happened? You're like in school with this guy. You're like, oh, let's start doing this on our own.
So, what happened was we were actually looking into online education. And there was this program. So believe it or not, we started this company, Expandify Marketing. Okay. We started at each minus $800. Okay. The program was like $1,006. And basically we were both working part-time at the time. And I was a waiter. Okay. So I was working Friday, Saturday nights at the restaurant, waiter, bartender. And I would make like cash tips. So I would get my like little salary like every 2 weeks in the bank, like wired in. And then every Saturday I would collect my tips, like actual cash, 2, 3, 4 bills, whatever it was. And at the time, this program was like 1.6K, right? So at the time for us, that was like a lot of money, probably like 6 years ago now. So Nick was pushing me, my partner. He's like, I see this program, some online programs talking about social media, advertising, marketing. He's like, I really want to invest. I really want to do it.
What is this program being?
Time,
sorry to cut you off, but what is this program being given on at the time? Like, is it a platform for?
It's a platform, dude. It's the Ty Lopez platform. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
It was a Ty Lopez one.
Yeah, because at the time there was not really like Udemy or like Skillshare and all that stuff.
Yeah, so he had an online platform on his website. Okay, and at the time he was pushing a bunch of content. I can help basically create agency owners who are gonna get clients to pay them $1 to $10K a month for social media marketing.
Yeah.
It was very vague at the time, but it was a really great introductory course, introductory into that market, just to get an understanding. It really went over all the fundamentals, what's social media advertising, what's marketing online, how do you create content, how do you put it out, how can you maybe get a paying client for you to manage their social media. So all those basic fundamentals. It was 1.6K, something along those lines at the time. And it was a lot of money. At the time, I wasn't going to put 1.6K on my credit card. So Nick's like, bro, let's do it. I have a great feeling about this. So I was studying marketing I was studying business. So kind of like business and marketing at Abbott.
Yeah, commerce. Yeah.
Commerce. And Nick was in graphic and web design.
Oh, perfect.
So I was like good at writing, and like I kind of had like a bit of the finance look behind it at the start. Nick takes care of a lot of finances now. He's really good. And Nick was doing graphic and web design. So we kind of had both strong points, right? So we kind of came together, and he's like, man, you know, Nick was in graphic design, and he's like, I'm not sure where I'm going to take this. He's like, you don't know where you're going to take it either. At the time, everyone's just in school. What are you going to do? You're going to do commerce, do graphic design, graduate, maybe go to university, then try and get a job for some corporate company. That's the dream, right? Try and get a 6-figure salary. So just like everyone else, that's basically what we were looking to do. So we had no set plan. No one gave us a roadmap to say, this is how you're going to have to, you know, start a business, start selling high-level consulting, result-driven services for businesses, get people to pay you for results, right? You can scale up a business that way. So no one told us that we can do that. No friends, especially not our parents. Our parents are like, stay in school,
for sure,
you know, the old school traditional. So everyone and their mother would basically tell us, you know, what are you thinking? Like,
it's always a high risk, you know, for them.
High risk. And for us, we were like, you know what? It's such a low risk. I mean, we still live in our parents' place, you know, just thank goodness. And we're very grateful for it. We both had, you know, families that put food on the table for us. And, you know, not super rich parents that, you know, bought us anything we want, but we didn't go hungry at night, you know, and we're super grateful for that. So in our position, we're like, you know, it's the perfect time to take a risk, right? We have a nice cushion to fall back on. We're not going to be out on the streets, you know, if this goes south.
So you guys are already thinking like that at that time?
At the time, a little bit later, I would say, yeah, around 6 months later, when shit started to get really real, right? And we started to see what we can do with social media, and we actually landed our first paying client, which I'll get to. Like, yeah, that's when we started saying, okay, because then there was more expenses, like the incorporation fees. You have to pay 1.5K roughly for that. Then you have to hire an accountant. Then you have to start paying for websites and this and that. So the fees start to come up. So we start to look into this a lot more seriously. So, and all this to say, we're looking at this program. Nick's at my house one day. We literally started in our parents' basement. We're in my mom's basement, okay? Huddle around his laptop. We're like, oh my God, it's like over $1,000. What can we do? And he offered like a financing of like 4 payments of 400 or something like that at the time. And I made an agreement with Nick. I was like, slap it on your credit card. And I was like, I'll give you $50 cash a week until I pay off my portion. So we literally did that. We slapped the first $400 of the payment plan on Nick's credit card. And now I went in debt 8 bills to Nick. Like, not unofficially. And I'm like, yo, every time I get my cash Saturday from my tips, I'm going to pay you out. And I literally paid Nick $50 or like $100 for every week for like 2 months, 3 months until I paid him off and we were in the clear. So we literally started this business in the negatives. I financed it cash through Nick paying it off on his credit card. And Nick was freaking out at the time too. You know, he's like, oh, dude, like 400 on my credit card, another 1,200. He's like, you know, so
but now you're like heavily invested into this course, right? Because you put that money down.
Yeah, so we put that money, but that's, you know, that in the grand scheme of things, that's absolutely nothing. You know? That's literally 10 times that, you know, at 10 G's, you know, that would be more than worth it, you know, to try and get some knowledge, you know, in the space.
But at that time, you're like really studying this program now, right? Because you're like invested.
So you pay attention to what you pay for.
Right.
Okay. And so now we had skin in the game. Exactly. And so, of course, we start to actually, you know, listen to the video modules, you know, do the little homeworks that he would put out for us. We tapped into like the Facebook groups and all that. So all this online mentorship space, I highly recommend it. Awesome. For whatever it is you want to do. If it's marketing, get a marketing course. You want to learn real estate, you know, get a course on real estate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny, it's Ty Lopez, because he was that like first guy to do the whole YouTube marketing.
That's
and like
it.
the Lamborghini and like
the Lamborghini in my garage. And here's the thing, I love saying, it's Tai Lopez. It sounds like cheat, a bit like tacky or whatever the case is to some people.
No, at the time it was, but now looking back, people realize how smart he was because he was so like annoying and in your face. They you remember
now people start to understand it a little bit more, but still, so you're in the space, you're a bit more open-minded. That's why we're sitting down, right? And so you can understand, but still on a like lower level, so many other people still think he would be a scam or this or that, and I literally just laugh and I say, knowledge is bliss, knowledge is ignorance. I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what to tell you.
Especially if other people are not doing courses and shit, you can't really relate to them at that point.
At the time, every person that would tell me, not that I would want bad for anyone, everyone that would tell me, wow, you guys are crazy, what a scam, I'd be like, sucks for you, man. You're not getting in. Don't pay for it, man. No problem. It's so saucy. You don't want to know the juice. Don't learn the juice.
It's also crazy that you guys still had that mental power to be yo, we know what we're doing kind of thing, or at least believe in yourself enough.
And it never stopped there. That was just an introduction into the marketing, online marketing program in terms of a course. We've invested into so many other names now. All the big names out there that you see in advertising, we bought their programs, we buy their course, we buy their mentorships. We go to their events, we pay VIP to be in the front row to meet these people and actually learn from them in person. So that just opened the world of what's possible with online education outside of formal education.
Yeah, the access to information.
Keep in mind, we were both still finishing up college. Okay, I still got into university. Okay, so our parents, we still knew that was a route to go, and it's not to put shy away from formal education. That's amazing, especially if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or something. But the world of online is just so huge and it's so untapped for most people, and it's insane. Like I was saying, if you want to learn marketing, there's a course on marketing. Well, I'm gonna drop one soon too. Okay. So, if you want to learn real estate, there's a course on real estate. You want to learn how to, Airbnb, there's a course on learning how to do Airbnb.
And I find the coolest part about that is you're learning from the best of the best versus whatever your university could provide you, But
that's exactly it. And when you're hiring a mentor, you're basically skipping out on thousands of hours of trials and tribulations and errors, right? So literally this entrepreneur that you want to learn maybe real estate off of or marketing has literally spent 5 to 10 years in the trenches with their own money being invested to learn the ins and out, and you're getting it shot to you, all the knowledge just sent to you directly in a very fast format for a fraction of the price and not even close to a fraction of the time that it took this professional to acquire the knowledge that he's teaching you, right? You're literally skipping the line, right? As opposed to a university teacher. I mean, I did marketing in university and it was horrible. Just super outdated. Literally, our teacher had the same slideshow for a decade, okay? This is literally things change so fast on social media.
And also the education system, they don't have an incentive to better their shit.
And it's two things, a lot of successful teachers, a lot of successful professors out there, 100% taking that away from no one. I think it's amazing and they're awesome. But a lot of them don't actually have the experience to back it up. It's a lot of theory. It's a lot of theoretical, right? And then the other thing is their education curriculum is just outdated, They haven't updated things for several years.
Especially in a program like marketing, it's changing so fast.
That's the thing. Every single day, there are updates on social media. Every single day. You will wake up tomorrow, we're oh my God, we're not able to do what we were doing the last fucking 3 years. Now we have to change it up in terms of a targeting or what's possible on social media, a feature. Things are constantly evolving, so we stay tapped into newsrooms, right? So we're Facebook business partners. So on top of it, we get their newsletters. So I'm up to date with all their things.
So is that the main way you get informed and stay up to date?
That's a main way. Obviously, if you're tapped in for us, I would just tap into Facebook's newsroom. You can go Facebook newsroom. It's basically a tab, a website that they update regularly.
Like a newsletter kind of thing?
Yeah, no, it's kind of like a newsletter, but it's actually a website.
Okay. That's
constantly getting updated. You can pull it up after and it's just giving you all their updates. I guess now they're meta updates.
Yeah.
So that's just one way to stay informed, right? And so all these things are changing, literally changing day by day, week by week. and then you want to go learn something in school that's, let's say the same slideshow has been there for 4 years. That even if it's 2, 3, 4 years, and our teacher had it for over a decade, okay, that's just outdated. At least it needs, at some point, needs to be updated and refined. Some things stay true, right, and are kind of evergreen.
Yeah, like the whole Kanye West program they're incorporating.
I kind of heard about that. I saw that on social media. I'm not too sure.
There's like certain courses that I guess you could choose and like do that with, but for the most part, I feel like university is just like a giant thing to like teach you how to manage your time. Like, it's just about like giving you a lot of work.
No, it's discipline.
That's all it is.
For sure. Yeah.
But if you have your own discipline, then why waste 4 years?
Yeah, and I don't think school in general is not good.
That's not what I'm saying either. But
especially like high school and like kind of CJEP, that teaches you your basic functions, you know, how to read, write, sit properly in a class, control yourself, build that discipline, do your homework. That's building cognitive function. That's building your brain. That's teaching you life lessons that you need. But then when it comes to a certain point, especially for me at the university level, that's when you're an adult. Okay, that's when you have to make real life decisions for a career path of what you will do with your life. Okay, so that's when it gets more to a point where does everyone need to go and enroll and do that and invest? A lot of students go into debt, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. We went into debt to start our business, right? However small it was, we technically took a leap of faith. Yeah. But just to say, right, there's a lot of other ways that people can come out and basically learn information much more rapidly, much more up to date from people who have been successful, who have made millions, hundreds of millions of dollars with their companies, right? And they're going to just show you how to do it for a fraction of the price. I mean, I would go 10 times out of 10 to a successful mentor in the space than to someone who's teaching theory.
So would you say your mentors are mostly like online mentors?
Yeah, a lot of online mentors. You know, and a lot of them we've met in person, you know, like, so events and stuff. Yeah, going to their events, going to different types of masterminds, going to their houses, right? Getting, you know, more one-on-one mentorship at certain points and stuff like that. So
did you end up finishing university?
I never finished university.
Okay, so when did you make that decision, and like when did you realize that you could do something like that?
Yeah, so we were already had it. So when we were in university, the company was already picking up. Okay. I would say we probably had, I don't know, maybe half a dozen or a dozen like solid paying clients on monthly retainers we were working with for many months now.
And these are just like like businesses you're going out and finding on your own?
Yeah, a lot of them we were going on finding on our own. We didn't have too much of an online SEO presence at the time. Nowadays a lot of it's inbound, word of mouth, right? Because we've been working our way towards that point. For sure, yeah. But at that point it was all outbound, right? And at the time we were doing outbound email. So we basically, how we got our first client was, I came up with the name Expandify. I was in school. It was while I was like roaming the halls of John Abbott, all like, you know, seeing we want to start this consulting business, start help, you know, people scale up their social media. Because at the time we saw such a big gap. We saw such a big gap for small, medium businesses. Not leveraging a lot of the things that we had just picked up in these online programs in terms of social media, and at the time we were doing a lot of jack of all trades. So we wanted to push like content calendars, like organic, like graphic design. We want to post like, we want to do your website. We want to do your photography, you know, we want to do everything for you. You know what I mean? We want to do your ads on top of it.
Did you have a team for it, or were you just kind of?
We're slowly building an external team.
Okay.
You know, like
so you're outsourcing
to like freelancers and stuff like that. And so, like, at some point, and this is way later. This is actually when the pandemic hit in 2020. That's when we said, okay, we got to specialize. You know, a lot of these bigger companies don't like to work with a jack of all trades. If they're gonna hire externally and, you know, pay good money for it, they want someone who specializes in a service. And so, a lot of these content creation services, graphic design, photography, you know, publishing, you know, organically online, they're still super important. Someone needs to take care of this for the brand to maintain a presence, but they're just not result driven enough. Okay. And so that's when we really made our leap towards advertising, but I'll get to that. And so here we are, you know, I came up with the name Expandify. Nick came up with the logo, okay, that we still have today.
That's from back then?
That's still from back then. Okay. Our logo. So kind of goes to show, you know, I was kind of in like the writing and the English business. I came up with the name. He's doing the graphic design, came up with the logo. So we kind of smashed those together. And then we created business cards, Okay. We had a terrible website that Nick made.
Was he like at that time? There's no like Squarespace or anything. Like
we had made it on WordPress at the time.
WordPress, right?
It was WordPress. Yeah. Now we're all on ClickFunnels.
Yeah.
So we made it on WordPress at the time. We had terrible business cards, like same day business cards from like Bureau en Gros. Like terrible, like one-sided, like you could barely read it.
Yeah.
I remember going to events and people were like,
it's just like smudging.
Maybe you should like print a little bigger. Like we're just like, yeah, we can. Like, anyway, so like all this to say, we didn't even have a legal business. And here we go. We created expandify@gmail.com. Didn't even have a domain. Like nowadays you can hit me up at john@expandify.ca type of thing. So we made a Gmail, business cards, we had a logo, a name, okay?
All the fun stuff, yeah.
All with fun stuff, kind of quick things that people freak out about, trying to create it, whatever. And we started doing outreach. And it was Nick who was pushing outreach at the time. He was pumping email campaigns, like email marketing. We didn't even have it set up in campaigns. It was like one-off emails at the time. Okay. We didn't even have systems in place and stuff like that.
Right.
And
so you're like creating a Rolodex of some sort and just like hitting them up? Like
exactly. Like adding it in like a sheet.
Right.
Just literally taking their emails and like tracking if they answered or not. So on. It's like super basic.
Yeah.
And so Nick was pumping out emails. And this is in like September, like 2017. Okay. This is in September 2017. And so what happened was we landed our very first meeting ever with a client. It was with Party Mania. Okay. So there's one right here in Point Claire, but at the time they were opening up their Brossard location.
Okay.
Huge location, like I don't even know, 20,000 square foot location, massive warehouse. And we ended up booking a meeting with them. So I don't know, me and Nick ended up, putting our dress shirts on, whatever, getting it all together. Yeah, we printed a couple PDF documents. We actually had contracts printed out. Okay, we actually printed out contracts, put in a folder. We're both walking in with our like
estimate contracts, like estimates,
like contracts with like blanks for like the amounts, and stuff like that. So we can just fill it in on the spot.
Yeah,
super basic, like 2-3 page contracts that we got from the web. Okay. And like just added our names.
Examples,
Examples, yeah, exactly. And swapped out Expandify in certain places. Like really like preliminary. And so we landed this meeting with Party Mania. At the time, it was with Marco and Tara. Shout out to my first clients. And basically what happened was we got all dressed up, went to go meet them in Brossard. And we started talking. We actually really hit it off with them, with Marco and Tara. We started talking and it was September, and so it's Party Mania, right? So in October is Halloween. So we were telling them, we're like, look, we just saw like this, and this party store. They're like posting all kinds on social media. They're doing a big push. Like you guys are like opening this new location. You guys want to drive a lot of traffic. Start it off with a bang. Like we gotta definitely get this stuff going for you. So we had that sense of urgency. Okay, urgency was what really made the sale there. Okay. And literally, Marco sits back, he goes, okay, I like it. What's it going to cost?
Did you guys find that?
Literally, me and Nick looked at each other. I'm like, Nick, I told Nick, I take it from there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be $497 a month. We're going to post for you online, 10 posts a month. We'll take care of that community management stuff for you. Maybe create some graphics and we'll be there. We'll help you do a photo shoot, this, that, the other. He looks at Tara, he's like, $500 a month. He's like, all 3 locations? We're like, yeah, no problem. He's like, I'm with it. Let's go. How do I move forward? Literally on the spot. Very first meeting.
Right.
Okay. He's like, I'm like, perfect. Man. Pulled out, feeling like cool. All ready, like keep my cool. Have those contracts like signed, like already prepped, like those 3-page document. I'm like, oh, perfect. Making it sound like all nonchalant. Yeah, let me just get my contract out. Yeah, just fill it out here. I was like, just read it, really easy. So he's like, obviously I want to read this contract before I sign off what these guys are giving me. Just like, give me a couple of minutes, like, I'll read it. He read it on the spot. It was such a small, like 3-pager, like I'm saying.
Yeah.
He read it all. He's like, okay, this looks good. I filled in all the blanks, $497 a month plus tax, like Party Mania with Expandify. We didn't even have a legal business, Expandify. Literally didn't even have a legal business at the time. We had signed our first deal, and then that week we went to go get legally incorporated under Expandify Marketing Inc.
Right.
And what happened was he's like, send me the invoice. And we're like, we're going to send you the invoice at the end of the month.
Right.
Because we literally didn't even have the logistics in place to send him an invoice. We didn't have a legal company. We didn't have like a PayPal set up. We didn't even know how to accept money at the time. It was all happening so quick. So I was like, we played it all off so nonchalant. We're like, yeah, no problem, dude. Like, we'll invoice you at the end of the 30 days. Like, give you some time to pay, no worries. He's like, even better, I get to pay after. Like, good to go, man, no worries. Who doesn't want to pay after the service? Everyone, right? Nowadays, we collect right away. And I keep your credit card on file, and that gets charged every month, right? Because that's just how we built our systems, right? We've learned, right? But back in the day, we had no systems, and we were chasing people trying to collect. And
so this is also like your first like kind of like work that you're actually doing. So like you don't really have much to show before that, right? This is like your first client you could show.
Literally practically nothing to show. At Abbott, I did like a volunteer course, okay? And I got chosen to be out of like, everyone was like volunteering at like old folks homes and like at thrift shops and stuff like that, okay? And there was one like communications position.
Okay, say.
Like working for Volunteer West Island, okay? And I was so into like learning all the social media at that time, this, that, whatever, that I remember going to my teacher after and saying, I know there's one spot, but like I'm really interested in this. Like, do you think like I can have a shot? He's like, look, submit your paper. I can't promise you anything. He's like, if you get it, you get it. So I ended up writing like this crazy like paper as to why I'm qualified to like be in the one person in the communications for volunteering. I ended up getting the position. So I ended up getting that one, which was like a blessing compared to, you know, going to feed the homeless, which I think is awesome, by the way. I think it's amazing.
But it's something you're into already. So like
it's something I'm into. I was passionate about it, right? So I ended up doing, I was basically working as a volunteer, as like a communication person, like helping Volunteer West Island with their social media.
Did you learn like communication stuff on that?
So, yeah, so I was basically like creating like animations and like videos for them to post and like post just the regular stuff, like posting on their Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, like helping them with like emails, stuff like that, like super basic things. And it wasn't even a paid position. It was for me to like graduate from Abbott, basically to get credits. So that was all the knowledge I had. And Nick had basically just been studying graphic design. So we had like next to nothing. At the time, I think we showed like one of our buddies' websites that he had created because he was starting an e-commerce business as like a reference point in the meeting. Like that's all we had to show was like one website that we didn't even create.
Damn.
Okay? And like we were just rolling with it, you know? And it was the confidence that came out. Like we genuinely were like, you know what? Like we're learning all this stuff. Like we could actually help you. Like you guys are a little older. You guys don't have this knowledge necessarily of like what's up and coming. You need the service done, right? You have the budget, like we could actually help you. Like you have almost nothing to lose, right? So I guess it sold itself. We got along, we sold it. So then anyways, the next week went to go form the business, started working with them, hit it off, and then basically invoiced them at the end of the month.
And you guys were able to figure out
we figured out all our logistics. Nick's dad was really the one who organized us. I have to give it a shout out to Vince. Honestly, Vince, from the very beginning, he's like, nope. If you want to go into business, if you're serious about this, okay, he's like, you need to form a corporation. To be honest,
you wanted to just get e-transfers kind of thing.
Yeah, like we weren't like super strict. Like we didn't know, you know, like a lot of.
But you have to make over 30K anyways to. Like,
for QST, GST, all that stuff, but. Nick's dad is like, no. He was super strict. Like Nick's dad to this day, Vince is super strict.
That's good though. You're like learning how to do everything properly.
He literally set us up properly and legally. Legally. So since 2017, we've had a legal corporation. All right. And just a couple of days ago, we got word back that we got trademarked in Canada. So we're super happy. So we're a trademark corp, you know, that's been around for 5 years. You know, we've gotten like grants, you know, from major institutions, right? And the city and stuff like that. They were business partners with the city and like with major institutions.
Do you guys get involved in like a lot of community stuff as well?
We're starting to dive a lot more into it. Not even close to enough to what we want to do.
You think it's important?
I think it's super important, man. I think it's super important. It's important for a lot of reasons, you know. I think it's important. One, mainly for the impact, obviously. I think that's amazing, you know, helping the community grow in any way, helping people learn something, sparking motivation, you know, sparking even a smile on one person's face. I think that's really awesome. And it's amazing for us too, because it's just more natural exposure and word of mouth, right?
Exactly,
so it's a win-win for everyone. So we started that corp, and basically we invoiced them at the end of the month. Boom, we got our first $500 in PayPal at the time. And we were all like happy. We had a $500 a month client paying us to post for social media while we're in school at Abbott. Like,
so now you're finding like
things off to the races.
So you're working, you're at school, and then on your free time, you're kind of like managing the social media now.
Exactly. And then so the next person we went to was my buddy Johnny, who was our boss at the restaurant. They had no Instagram and like an abandoned Facebook page.
And you work there, so you know the potential.
I know the potential. That was the whole thing. I knew all about the dishes and like the restaurant, so it made it so easy to come up with the content. Like I knew how to come up with the captions and everything, and ended up coming up with some great stuff, right? So we went to Johnny, and we're like, Johnny, dude, like, we're studying. You know, he was our boy. He was my boss at the time, but he's a super chill guy. Yeah. Like to this day, we're still boys. He was just over, like I said. Like we're like, Johnny, like Nick's doing graphic design. He's killing it right now. Like I'm studying like business. You know, like we're doing this program. We just signed Party Mania down the street. You know, 3 locations. Just helped them pop off for Halloween. You know, we have other clients in the pipeline. Like we could definitely help you. He's like, you know, look, I'm interested. Let's talk. So we set a meeting like outside of our working hours. Me and Nick show up with basically him and like another one of the managers was there.
Are you guys suiting up for this? Or?
Yeah, we wore dress shirts, shirts, dress shoes, you know. And we want to obviously be presentable. And basically we showed up and we're like, look, we'll post like 10 posts. We're basically the same thing that we sold Party Mania, we tried to sell him. And he's like, I'm with it. He's like, why don't we start with a trial? And we're like, you know what? We're so fresh in the game that anyone's business, especially a business that's been around, like a nice fine dining restaurant that wants to allow us to open up their Instagram and start posting and stuff like that, we're like, no problem. I was like, literally, like, we'll do 1 month for you. We'll show you what we got. We'll do a photo shoot next week and we'll take it from there. So we literally, our second client with my buddy, we did a month free.
Right.
Okay. We did a month free. I think it was like 5 weeks. 5 weeks later, we set another meeting. And we had posted a bunch of stuff. A lot of clients were actually like commenting. Clients were coming in. I was a waiter at the place. Yeah. And they were really saying, oh, like they were like, as I'm serving this, oh, like I just saw this dish on Instagram. And I'm like, oh my God, you have no idea. I'm the one who posted it.
Yeah. Like, it's always good to you know actually make an impact.
Yeah, like immediate impact, like literally in this local business. So 5 weeks later, we go to Johnny. We're like, okay, we're going to give you this. It's going to be $497. Anyways, we ended up like negotiating at like $100 off. We ended up closing about like 4 bills. Boom, second paying client. So now all of a sudden, me and Nick were making $900 a month off managing these 2 social medias, just posting content for them organically.
You're making like $900 a month now.
$900 a month, 500 plus 400 off the other client. 2 little businesses in Montreal. So now all of a sudden we're like, okay, you know, this is working.
And it's just you two managing all of this.
Just us two, 50-50 partners.
And is the workload like getting crazy yet?
No, the workload's really not getting, we're actually enjoying it so much. It's so easy, nonchalant to us. Because at the time, we weren't even doing very result-driven stuff like we're doing now. We were literally posting organically on social media, creating feeds.
Like that's how aesthetic-based.
Aesthetic-based, community management, good captions, stories weren't even out at the time. Okay. So we were doing that, like a monthly report of like how much people we reached, how many people clicked on stuff and all that good stuff, which is great. It's great to build an online presence, but nowadays that's not result driven, right? That's a lot of fluff, right? We want to know how much money we're going to spend and exactly how much money in proportion we're going to make back for our business. And that depicts how much we should get paid. So we're only result driven now. But at the time we were doing those services and everyone was enjoying it. People liked the content. Johnny liked the content. Like I said, we saw immediate reaction in the restaurant. Party Mania was loving it, opening up a 4th location soon, wanted us to work on that as well. Things were growing. And then we ended up signing, just kept signing. We just signed. And at one point we were basically graduating, and we had like a good amount of paying clients. We were probably, I don't know, at the time, I don't know exactly, we were probably making like, I don't know, like 5 to like 8K a month or something like that.
And most of these clients are like renewing every year kind of thing?
Yeah, every month. Yeah, exactly.
Every
it was
month,
a month-to-month contract.
Okay.
So we had no long-term agreements.
Right.
We still don't have no long-term agreements. Now our flagship service is a 90-day system. Then after that, it rolls month to month. The only reason we lock in 90 days because that's how long it takes us
to show the results,
right. And to actually, grind the gears and to get things going for each business, right?
Yeah,
it's not going to be like 20 days, like everyone's making, 100K profit.
And you gotta, every business is different. You gotta understand the business and like see how you can work with it.
That's what it is, right?
Yeah.
So at this point now, it is a proven formula, a proven system that it's a proprietary system that we do offer our clients. So it's a bit of a copy paste, but like you just said, you do have to figure it out, customize it and tweak it for each business, right? So it takes a little bit of time. But at the time, it was literally no commitment, month to month, pay at the end of the month. Okay, which I never recommend to do because all that does, that just backs up payments.
It like lags it.
It lags payments. It lags payments, especially if you're not taking their credit card on file. We weren't even taking the credit card. We were sending them a digital invoice on PayPal, and then they were paying. And then we would receive the money. And then every month, we'd have to resend them another manual invoice. And then they would pay and so on and so forth. Nowadays, we send them basically one invoice. They pay it. That credit card gets put on file. Every 30-day cycle afterwards, it's just an automatic payment. Yeah. We don't even have to go in and actually click like pay. It's just, the system's just doing it for us.
Yeah, that solves a lot of time and problems.
So much time and issues and logistics.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
And you're not running after people for money, right? So what happened is when you invoice 30 days later and you're not charging their credit cards right away, then they might pay like 2 weeks later, right? So then you're like 6 weeks and then the next one's up and then they're late on the next one. So at one point we had like 2-3 months stack on a client, right? And that's just because of our disorganization. It's not even because the client didn't want to pay. It was just our lack of systems.
Yeah.
Okay. So we obviously learned from that and that never happens anymore.
As a freelancer, like there's a lot of that where like I would have to follow-ups and invoice, follow-up emails.
Right. And it shouldn't be like that, man. When you want to go buy clothes at the store, do you pay for them before or after you wear them?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same type of thing.
Right.
So, you want to get paid before. At the very minimum, on larger projects, especially one-time project, let's say 50% upfront. And that's just covering your costs. That's just making sure, that everyone has skin in the game. So, like I said, we're starting to scale it up. And that's when it was time basically to hit university. So I'd gone into John Molson, right? In basically...
So at the time, are you like, maybe there's a benefit in university, like could use towards my business?
So at the time, I figured maybe some of the things I could learn could be applicable directly to the business. And at the same time, I was basically fortunate enough to get in. I got accepted to John Molson right off the gate. Right, I was like exempted from all their like math and like ecom programs.
You didn't have to do them?
Courses. I didn't have to do them because I got like over 75 or whatever.
Oh, okay,
in the CJUP level, so I was exempted from a lot of the stuff.
You still did
so I was like, I literally just walked right in. I could just go in and start doing classes. So I never took a full course load. I started with like 3 classes. In my head, I'm like, you know what? I was like, let me chop away at this. I'll get a degree and I'm going to scale this business and be an entrepreneur. And as looking back, still very possible. Even to this day, still very possible. I could fully go and accomplish that over the next few years. But what was starting to happen was it was just starting to eat into my time. I wasn't loving it. So much theory.
Yeah, it's like a full-time job.
It was like a full-time job when you're in school. And I had a part-time curriculum while working part-time at a restaurant still at the restaurant, while we were growing the business.
Right.
And I was helping my dad out every now and then, once a week, with his landscaping business.
Oh,
okay. So there was a lot on our plate.
Yeah.
So anyways, I was going in and what was happening was I just got, I had no motivation. I wasn't resonating with a lot of things we were learning. Basically, they were teaching us in marketing class how to send out formal emails and stuff like that. Like the real basics that you can just learn in a YouTube video. You don't
or
need
just
to
by
enroll.
doing it. Like you should just
by
doing
it.
it.
Yeah, but a 10-minute YouTube video. How do I send like a email to a potential client
or
a potential employer. You could learn this in 5 minutes by Googling it. Literally. Nowadays you can learn almost everything that you would learn
for free
in school for free. I have clients, big box brands, right, that are in like 7,000 locations across the continent. You know what I mean?
So like, how are you managing that now? Do you have like a team? Like what's going on? Like,
you
guys started off as 2, right?
Yeah, we started off as 2. So we're still 2 owners. Okay. Basically, practically all of our team is external. Okay. So so we have like video editors who like create our customized video pitches. We have salespeople who do customized outreach. We have graphic designers. A lot of these people are exclusive to us, meaning we give them enough work that we're really the only company they work with. And basically they're freelancers. They own their own company. And we basically subcontract. We basically, give out jobs to them on a cost per project basis. And, some of them, still do, maybe provide work for other agencies or freelance for themselves on the side. So we have like videographer, video editors, sales reps, graphic designers.
So you're basically
it's a remote team.
Yeah,
it's a remote team.
What were you saying before? Like how it's like you guys tried to be like doing everything.
So
jack of all trades.
We were jack of all trades. So
now you're like a full team. Like you could like.
So we're a full team that could execute on that. But this is where we made a crazy shift, and it really happened. It happened in February 2020 when shit hit the fan for everyone. Like a lot of these businesses, the world was shook, and basically the business world collapsed, and next to everyone lost their job. We had ran up a client base, to like a dozen or so pretty good paying clients. We got dropped across the board. What happens during a pandemic? The first people to go is marketing people. So we were told we're on pause across the board. We had one last paying client, that was paying us $1,500 a month. So we were down to 1.5K a month. We had an office space at this point. We had salaries we were paying ourselves. So we practically went into negative for like a month or 2. So that's when Nick and I really came together and we're like, okay, let's look at this 10,000 foot glance. Like obviously we have skills. Obviously these skills are still in demand. Businesses are going to come back from this. What do we need to do here to ensure this never happens to us again? You can almost lose your business overnight. Which happened to a lot of people is because of the pandemic.
You're like pandemic proofing your business.
Pandemic proofing your business. Exactly. So number one thing we said was we have to just sell results. We're like, content is great, photography is great, graphic design is great, funnels and landing pages and websites are awesome, and videos, all necessary assets that we're going to utilize to advertise on the internet for all our clients. But those are cookie cutter, services in the sense that they don't provide an immediate tangible result. It's hard,
and it's more generic. Like everybody could kind of like do it,
there's that aspect, but it's not even that aspect, because everyone could even run Facebook ads, not as complex and properly obviously as we've learned to do it. But everyone could. There's that. But the other thing, you can't tangibly see concrete results as easily. Like you can post 10 posts on social media and you can see reach, and maybe you can see how many people clicked the link in your bio and potentially went to your reservation listing and made a reservation. And maybe you can even see how much they spent when they came to the restaurant and so on and so forth. But it's just so hard to track results. And it's a gray area where it's like, you can kind of track it, but not properly. Now with Facebook ads, Google ads, we're able to literally, let's say we want to inject $1,000 in Facebook ads. We will directly see exactly to the penny how much was generated in return. And so if at any point in time, even during a pandemic, if you can go to a business owner, if someone would come to me and tell me, I give them $1,000 and they'll make me back 6, 7, 8, 10 at the end of the month.
That's what you want to hear.
Even if everything else hits the fan, why would I not do that? as a smart thinking business owner.
So are you guaranteeing this to them? Like, or are you just saying
there's no guarantees.
Okay.
There's no guarantees. Nowadays we've worked out commission-based payment structures.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we have sometimes put in our contracts that if we don't have a 2-to-1 ratio, we don't get paid. Right. So if we're not at least doubling the money that we spend on advertising, so if we spend $5,000, if we're not making at least $10,000 back in gross sales online, we're not even getting a commission.
So how would that work in like a restaurant industry? Like say you do like a Google ad or like you market online. How do you know like how much is being spent at the restaurant?
So that's another thing. So that's another thing we have to think about. We have to think about, okay, so now we're jack of all trades. Plus we're taking on almost any business that comes our way that's willing to pay us for us to do their services.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, we have to, 1, specialize in a service, and 2, we got to niche down. Okay. So that's when we started niching down really e-commerce, people who sell online.
Okay, cool.
Okay. But there are ways that you can track, conversions for local restaurants and local based businesses. There's even ways to track offline conversions now, and you can connect certain things to your POS system, and there are ways, okay, that we could track monetary value, but it's just a lot harder, and it doesn't really make too much sense, and especially for a small business owner, who's struggling to make rent and pay his employees, and so on and so forth. It has to be super evident and obvious. He needs to be like, I'm spending this, and I'm clearly making back way more. And so that's why even during a pandemic, why would I stop paying these guys? Even if I have to fire everyone else or lay off everyone else on my team, if I can always rest assured that I give John and Nick from Expandify 2 G's and they're making me back 6 or 7, no-brainer.
There's no point in cutting.
It's a no-brainer. No, there's 0 point in cutting someone who's gonna, 4x your money, 5x your money.
So for Expandify, like what are your, like now you guys have like a more niche business, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Is there other like ways that you're thinking of expanding this nicheness of the business?
Yeah.
Like long term, like where do you see this going? Do you see it staying the same, or do you
so I see so many things in the long term. Like we've literally just like stepped our foot in the water. Like we're not even like ankle deep yet. I want to be drowning in it, obviously. So we see so many things, and me and Nick are constantly talking about the future for the business and where we're going to take this. And so on the advertising agency side, I think niche is really important. The reason being is because people like to work with specialists, and they like to work with specialists for people in their niche, So for example, if you have on your business card, advertising for dentists, we don't do that. Okay, it's just an example. If you have on your business card advertising for dentists, as opposed to social media marketing for companies. Okay.
I'd rather choose
You rather choose the person who, 1, does the advertising specifically, which is what they're looking for, and 2, works with dentists, because this person is a solution for me. Dentists, right? So everyone likes to work with people who already have proven testimonials and results for people who have similar businesses to theirs. So now we have people with fashion brands or supplement companies, right? We have testimonials from them. So now we can go to other fashion brands, e-com brands, and supplement companies and say, look, I just did it for this, and this brand. They're loving it. Here's their video testimonial telling them we're making them this much money. Let me try and do the same for you. And so people love that. So on the advertising agency side of things, we want to continue to niche, and we want to continue to work with e-commerce brands, and maybe step into the info product space. Okay.
Have you been looking? This is kind of more further along, but have you been looking into like the blockchain space and NFTs and stuff? So
personally speaking, I'm aware of it. Okay, like I have some cryptocurrency myself. Okay, I have a Coinbase account. A little bit of money in there.
You know enough to not FOMO kind of thing.
Exactly, but I'm not an NFT collector myself.
No, but I'm talking
not heavily invested in the blockchain.
But like NFT, like for contracts, for example.
Yeah, so that's something completely else that we haven't really started to dive into. Okay. I know my best friend, like Michael, super heavily invested in that.
Right,
you know?
right. Yeah.
So are some of my other friends. They have all kinds. Ambro has a bunch of NFTs. So Nick too has some NFTs that he bought. He linked to his wallet, bought it with Ethereum. Personally speaking, I'm not completely there in investing or looking into that, but I think it's amazing. I think it's definitely not just the future, it's the present. And I'm especially excited about the metaverse and how to apply advertising in the metaverse. So
do you have any ideas?
Like there's just so many that come to mind. It's like
how do you picture a world of like the metaverse advertising?
So the first thing that comes to my mind, okay, is you have your VR goggle on, you stepped into a new world, okay? And here you are, let's say just walking the streets, right? Like you would outside, right? So the first thing that comes to mind to me is literal, physical, old school billboards. Like literally. Like that out of home marketing stuff now isn't as good, right? People would rather invest in social. It's a lot more trackable. It's hard to see how many, qualified people pass by your billboard every day and how many of those people are qualified and how many will convert. It's great awareness and there are methods to track and so on and so forth, but people are much more risk averse to that old traditional method now and want to all go in on social. Well, if we're going to strap into the, into the metaverse, and
you literally see where someone's looking.
So you're going to literally see things. Yeah. You're going to see buildings, right?
You could also track like where this person's looking, what part of the billboard he's looking, and all that,
Exactly. So really crazy stuff. So, I mean, I would like to be like, I know Nick and I would like to obviously be, people who are at the forefront of digital, like augmented metaverse out of home marketing, right? Like traditional billboards in the real world has never interest us, right? Because it's like kind of diminishing. People are going more social, right? But in the metaverse, if we could be one of the first people to jump on like billboards in the metaverse, okay?
We could
be game changers.
You could already jump on billboards in like AR right now, like like the Waze app. When you're like driving by something, like things pop up.
Now, you pay for that. Right? Yeah. Starbucks pays for that. Tim Hortons pays for that, right? So that you can see their sign, right?
Yeah.
Exactly that. So trying to implement those type of ways. Now, here's the thing. With all this blockchain and this metaverse and all of this, it takes a lot of time and money to invest into these softwares and into producing different types of softwares and, ways that, platforms even that are applicable, that link with the metaverse, right? So the way I'm seeing it right now is we're continuing to do what we're best at, okay? What is still physically working for us here just on social. And we want to partner. We're going to be some of the first people as soon as they do come out with a way, that people can advertise, to monetize in the metaverse, right? We want to be some of the first people who are jumping on that. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. Cause you guys are really heavy into Facebook and stuff too, right? So like Facebook Meta.
Yeah. It's the same company, right? Yeah. So obviously those are going to be intertwined,
Have you seen the videos of like people on the beta version of it?
For sure. I was watching. So like we're Meta business partners. Okay. So I get like emailed all their stuff. Yeah. So of course I got notified like weeks in advance that Mark Zuckerberg was going to have this like release, so on and so forth. So I was watching it live, dude. I was watching it behind my computer in real time. And then he's just like, and we are now Meta. I'm like, what the fuck did this guy just say? Like, bro, I'm calling Nick, bro. Did you just hear, bro? It's not Facebook anymore. Like, what's going on? So I got like for sure, like I will always tapped in, and there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can now start to get your feet wet in the metaverse and
what other platforms do you think are important? Like, say I'm a business owner and I can only focus on like 3 platforms. Like, which 3 should I focus on?
It's a good question. That's a good question.
Like, are you looking into TikTok and stuff nowadays?
Yeah, I was going to be one of the first ones.
Really? Okay.
So the reason, like, our system, our advertising, how we get results. Is primarily Facebook, Instagram, Google. But now there's TikTok ads. So now we're starting to get our feet wet with TikTok ads too. And I would say TikTok would be one of those 3 platforms now, and it's because of the organic reach.
Right.
Okay. Right now you can publish something on TikTok. I would say for every 10 to 12 posts that almost anyone puts on TikTok, as long as it's half decent, okay, one of them goes viral.
Yeah.
One of them has like 50K plus views.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's because the reach and the organic reach hasn't been throttled yet on TikTok. It's basically like Instagram in its early days. Exactly. You would be able to post and the organic was crazy. You know, tens of thousands of people would see it. Engagement was through the roof.
What about like paid ad wise though? Are you saying like paid TikTok ads?
I'm saying organic.
Organic, right?
I'm literally just saying post 12 TikToks, half decent, one will probably blow up. Okay. And that's because the organic reach, I'm not even discussing the paid aspect yet. Okay. Is just on fire. It's like Instagram in its early stages when engagement was through the roof, right? So now would be the best time to leverage TikTok organically, because there will never be another time in history where organic will be this distributed across their platform. They're going to become more of a pay to play type of platform, which is what Facebook became. You know, 4 years ago, we all got the news. Reach for business profiles is throttled. You can now only reach 20% of your audience organically, and the rest you have to use paid content distribution.
Yeah, they want more paid people to.
They want advertisers and brands specifically to pay more to be seen. It's more of a pay to play, pay to be seen platform. So now TikTok's not completely like that anymore. And now they're rolling out. They've rolled out their ads, and their ads work now.
TikTok is also gamifying their app. They have like all these like gifts and stuff you could do, and they're like kind of making it.
They're super innovative, man. Yeah. Super innovative. They've obviously,
it's like a casino machine,
Yeah, well, literally, and they've shook the world, and everyone's loving TikTok. Young demographics, even some older demographics, and so in terms of organic, number one right now.
What about Reels? Like, you know how Instagram started doing Reels and allowing Reels to have more reach?
Yeah, I think Reels are awesome. I think people are loving Reels. I think people are starting to watch Reels a lot. I think vertical form video is where it's at right now.
Yeah, even a picture in vertical form video form like gets way more views.
Literally with a little bit of music behind it. You know? So I think everything vertical, especially video, post it on TikTok, post it on Reels, and just give some content, give a bit of paid push behind both, so you get that organic to go. And then on top of it, you can choose a specific target audience and basically pay a little bit to get in front of that target audience, and hopefully you get a little bit of conversions there. Right?
I know you're talking about like e-commerce, right?
Yeah.
And I heard there's like a big like push in like Pinterest. They're saying is so underrated for e-commerce right now, and a lot of people like actually buy through Pinterest. So like, are you into Pinterest at all? Like, is there any?
I think we're definitely interested in Pinterest. We're running Pinterest ad for a client right now.
You do? Okay.
Yeah. It's a fashion brand based out of New York. Crazy online store. Doing like 300K a month on their online store. We're running Pinterest ads now because they have a big budget.
Okay. Is it cheap? Like it's are Pinterest ads cheap? I never looked into Pinterest ads.
Honestly, I'm not running it myself.
Okay.
So I haven't honestly got my feet wet myself. And actually ran those Pinterest ads. Nick and one of our media buyers has been taking care of that. So I couldn't tell you exactly how it is going in, like personally. But I've heard Nick, my media buyer and Nick has told me good stuff. Apparently we're getting good reach.
Definitely for in the fashion world, I can see that because just me personally, if I want to get ideas, I go to Pinterest, right?
But that's exactly.
And if I don't know where to buy a certain, I'll be like, where can I buy this? And then
that's where you have. It's like a mood board. Right?
Exactly, it's a mood board.
Inspiration, right? Yeah. So 100% for like trendy brands, fashion brands, all these like brands that pop with content. It's a perfect place to leverage Pinterest and Pinterest ads, right? Just another platform, right? To get in front of people. You need to keep an omnipresence with everything you do.
Yeah, but that's what's hard, right? Like, especially if you're a small business owner and you're trying to do most of the stuff you're on your own. Like, it's so hard to be involved in every single.
It is. It's difficult. It is, and you have to keep up. Okay.
Do you think there's any like programs that are beneficial to like make your life easier?
There is.
There is like Notion.
There is like scheduling platforms out there that you could use, like Hootsuite or Buffer back in the day, stuff like that. A lot of these, like now you can schedule right within Facebook. Okay, you can schedule your posts. So
but it's kind of complicated because you can't really put all your social media in one place. Like it's always be sick to
there are like Hootsuite, for example.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
you could do that.
Yeah.
You can leverage it too. We're not currently leveraging it, and the reason being is because we're not really pushing organic for our clients anymore.
Okay.
And for ourselves internally, we're just going on each platform and we're actually scheduling and publishing it. But we probably should be more automating that as a system as well. But we've used it. We've paid for Hootsuite for almost more than a year probably, and we've leveraged that before for clients, and it does work. Just very well. You can schedule it for Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, certain time, certain day. It gets posted, like all at once, and it's just off one back-end platform. But I guess the thing to just keep in mind is just that eyes are everywhere, So just be as mindful as can be as a business owner to just post on each of these platforms. Like, like me and my buddy were at the gym, right? It was where we met at Monster Gym, right? So we're at the gym, whatever, we're pumping. I see like my old hockey coach. Okay. He was like my old hockey coach back in the day. He goes up to me, he's like, "What's going on, man?" He's like, "How you been? I see all your stuff on LinkedIn." And in my head, like, I'm not even really pushing LinkedIn, like really that much at all. Like I'll share like a Forbes article here and there. I'll maybe post whatever I post, like not even whatever I post on Instagram doesn't even go like as an actual post, doesn't even go on LinkedIn. I'll post sometimes whatever we post for the business on my personal.
Yeah, Expandify makes a lot of sense on LinkedIn. Like I feel like that's like the main.
Yeah, because it's more of a professional. And so and I'm like, and Nick looks at me, he's like, and who's huge on social media. You met Nick, right?
Yeah.
Not Nick, my partner, my friend Nick, who has like millions of followers. He looks at me, he's like, "Dude, LinkedIn? Like, what? Like, I didn't know you were like pushing on LinkedIn." I was like, "Bro, honestly, like I post every now and then, like, but I built like a following. Like, I guess people see it, and people see it. People literally that I don't see in years came up to me, "Bro, I see your stuff on LinkedIn." And so that's just another that just reinforces it for me how important it is.
Yeah, there's different audiences everywhere.
To post everywhere, you know, and that same guy isn't looking at my Instagram stories. I can bet you.
Yeah.
Okay, but he's seeing my LinkedIn stuff. Maybe he's seeing my Twitter stuff, right? So it's so important to just post everywhere and to keep, we call it an omnipresence. Just keep an omnipresence on every single platform. If there's eyes there, why not, right?
What are your thoughts on like influencer marketing?
Huge.
Yeah?
Huge influencer marketing. You can run a business, run up sales just off the influencers.
Right.
I had one of my friends who does exactly that. Just seasonal e-com brands, and he just leverages influencers. Contacts, let's say 100 to 200 macro influencers. Not even that big.
Yeah, that's the thing. Now there's like micro influencers, right?
Man.
So do you see a future where like it's more important to build your personal brand versus like having like a company face behind it?
Yeah.
Because people think of Expandify, they think of you, right? So they know you are.
Yeah. So that's the thing. That's 100%. 100%. People love to resonate with personal brands. People like people. Okay, you'll never get the same type of connection. Get very close as you will. Personal brand to client compared to like business to client.
Right. Yeah.
And that's just because people love a face, and people like to genuinely express and communicate with actual other individuals. Okay. So I think they're two so important. So when I first started off, I was only corporate.
Right.
Push the business. I don't care about John. I wasn't even social media king on Instagram. Like, had like 1,000 followers. Barely, I hadn't posted for 2 years a post on my feed. Right? Couldn't care less. I'm making money on social. What do I care about my feed? Right? What I care. I was private. I had a private account.
Okay.
Friends and family type of thing. But where I was pushing Expandify, pushing Expandify across the board. And so that allowed me some time to grow our business page. But then, more recently, I would say I've really only been running up the personal brand for like less than 2 years. Less than 2 years is when I took my account from private to public. Okay. And when I really started putting an emphasis on building a personal brand. And since the last year and a half, I've just seen it work tenfold for me. You know, it's huge, 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 huge. Literally today, you know, people who I know who follow me, like hit me up, contacted me like 2 days ago. It got pushed down in my stuff because we're always doing outreach even on my accounts and stuff. It got pushed down and like he messaged me again, like question mark, what's going on, man? I'd love to work with you. Like, how do you work? Replying to my story highlights, stuff like that. So I've literally seen how just for a year and a half, focusing on my personal brand, Jonathan, social media king, you know, COO of Expandify, always relating it back to Expandify, you know?
Like you're the face behind the brand.
There's a face behind the brand. That's exactly it, you know? And I've seen it, just the constant inbound, you know, people messaging me, you know, DMing me, you know, see me in person. I saw you on Instagram type of thing. Like, how do you work? I have a business. I'm a real estate agent. Like, can I get leads? Right? So I've seen it work tenfold, you know?
So have you thought about doing like YouTube and like kind of like, you know, like how Gary Vee goes around his office and is like doing his day to day?
Of course, man. We're slacking. We need to get on that.
Because I feel like that would be super interesting.
We really do. And I need to start doing more things like this too. Coming out and literally speaking for an hour, for 20 minutes, giving tips and tricks.
Yeah. You could, like for YouTube, I see you giving a lot of like tips. And,
of course. I couldn't agree more with you, man. I couldn't agree with you more. We've been lacking on that regard. We need to pick up our pace. I think YouTube is freaking awesome. Okay. And another reason I think it's awesome is because we could also extend all of our YouTube reach with Google ads, because Google owns YouTube.
Right.
So everything we post on YouTube, right, we can extend that reach with sponsored posts via our Google ads, which is phenomenal. So the two kind of go 2 and 2 together. Obviously, you don't need to have a paid push. Most people don't even have a paid push. They grow it organically, which is amazing and very possible. But yeah, we need to step it up. We need to be posting a video, I would say, almost every day.
Yeah, and I find like when you start getting on YouTube, you become like the expert of some field, like just naturally, because you're giving the advice. You're like
100%. And people are seeing like your face, right? Like this, right? Exactly. So I need to start doing a lot more of this, you know, and posting that everywhere.
And you have so much content to like recycle.
Chop it up,
reuse,
recycle. Exactly, right? Exactly. Kind of like the way like Brad Lee's doing it, right? Like he's posting sometimes stuff from a couple months ago, posting it online this month, because who cares? People don't remember, and new people are going to see it, right? And exactly it.
Gary Vee too. Gary Vee, during the pandemic, he just went into like all these old videos and he just like repost about them.
That's it. But if they're still relevant today, they still provide value to your audience. New people are going to see it. I think it's amazing. I think
it's just crazy to me, like how you organize all that content. Like you have to have some kind of like search engine to like find shit, you know? Like
that it takes so much time.
Yeah.
It takes so much time.
You have to have a whole system in place.
It's a whole system. You have to really, you know, come up with ideas, think outside the box. What are we going to talk about?
At first, yeah, but eventually like it just becomes its own
100%.
thing.
And like how I started like posting on TikTok was me and my buddy in my basement. I'm like, okay, let's do it. He filmed me with the iPhone. I said, I start speaking.
Oh, do you have a TikTok?
Yeah, I have a TikTok.
Okay, dope.
At Advertising King.
Okay.
Social Media King, they took it from me.
No way.
So yeah, it's at Advertising King. It's okay. It's more specifically what I do too, which is advertising. So
check that out. I didn't see that.
Yeah, for sure. And I just recently started posting.
How many followers are you at?
Like 900. Like I need to bump it up.
You're almost at 1,000.
Yeah.
But it's like that's the thing about TikTok. It's like 3 times a day, like every day. Like that's what you gotta do.
Exactly.
Like, you gotta put in that work.
Exactly. Couldn't say any better, you know? Yeah. At least 2 posts a day. And that's what Gary Vee says. 3 posts a day for like 90 days, bro. You're gonna blow up. You're gonna be an influencer.
Yeah.
Right?
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. And some, you know, a few videos are bound to take off. So we need to get on that 100% more. But, you know, even just, you know, having a YouTube video, doing it 10 minutes on, you know, 3 ways that you can optimize your Facebook ads, for example, which is stuff that we plan on rolling out with soon. Like you said, you just take that piece of content, have little snippets, upload them on Reels, upload them on TikTok, and you're just going to reach, you know, so many more people. You're going to have content that's going to last you for a long time. You know, even from a podcast like this, you know, you can just snip up a bunch of things and, you know, key aspects that we're talking about and just post them. Right?
Exactly.
So what you do.
Yeah.
And that's content right there. And it's valuable.
Yeah, and if people resonate with it and they like it and they want to see more, they could come to my YouTube and watch the whole thing.
And going back, it really doesn't have to be super complicated. You know, like we literally just said, like, we came up with just random like skits, like, be sure to wear a suit. Like when you first start off, like don't show up in Air Force Ones type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
and have like a comedic aspect to it.
Yeah, a little bit
have
of
a personality
behind
to it.
And that's it. Personal touch, and you know, people could resonate. They can laugh. People like to laugh on TikTok and stuff. So yeah, definitely we need to be pushing all that content out for sure, 100%.
Yeah. So if there's any videographers out there that want to follow you around, you know.
Yeah, bro. I'm looking for some. I need some videographers for real. We're talking about it. Like, we need some videographers. We need
you have to find people that are good at storytelling. So like they could just follow you around for the day, and then they come up with like a nice story for it.
That's it. And who has the vision, you know?
Yeah, they understand your vision. Exactly.
Who relates and sees where we want to go.
Yeah, it's obviously easier said than done. But
yeah, for sure. But there's a lot of people out there. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll reach out.
I'm sure I'll find someone like after this, maybe, you know. So.
I mean, it's not that crazy. It's not that big yet, but like eventually.
It's just the same, man. You never know. It could be one person who's local watching it. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah.
Dude, it really doesn't take much. So 100%, you know, like we need to be pushing out a lot more video content for sure. And utilize that in our advertising too, for sure.
So you said you had something coming out soon? You had like a video thing?
So basically now, so we were talking about the future of Expandify, right?
Yeah.
And like where we're going. So in terms of our advertising agency, like we want to continue to scale it up. Like that's bread and butter for us. Like that's where we just want to keep scaling up. You know, on a side note, there's so many other different things that we want to roll out, you know, different types of services and products for different markets. So for example, one of the things we want to roll out is an education company. Okay. Where basically we create video modules, you know, have different types of downloadable PDFs, you know, give people access to like a Facebook group where we can answer questions.
Maybe like a newsletter or something.
Access to an exclusive newsletter, all those type of things. Maybe one-on-one, maybe like, once a month Zoom calls, right? Where I can answer questions live, or Nick or someone else on the team, right? And so we want to create an education company where basically we can literally sell the skills related to starting and scaling a digital marketing agency.
Yeah, it's like full circle. That's how you guys started.
It's literally how we started. It's how we started. We bought someone's program on it. And at this point, you know, there's even at our level, we still have so much more to go. So much more to learn.
Still 5 years. Like,
and we're always learning. We're always learning. I'm not saying we know it all by any means, but we do know a lot, right? And we know a lot more than someone just starting out.
You're 5 years ahead.
We're 5 years ahead, right? And so, and like countless clients and literally millions of dollars in ad spend. So like we've seen a lot of things. We can literally, you know, I can tell you, you know, collect up front, like little things, you know, like in your system. So I definitely think that we can teach digital marketing skills. So just how to go in the trenches and actually create ads, create Google ads, you know, retarget people, right? With advertisements, you know, create content, stuff like that. We can teach those like trench level like skills, which people can apply to their own businesses or businesses of others if they own their own freelance company or digital marketing company. Okay, they can learn off us. And at the same time, not only could we teach these people like trench level skills, but we can also teach them the systems to actually scale a company. You know, get incorporated. Hire an accountant immediately. Don't wait till your fiscal year is up. So you're backed up and owe money on taxes, you know? Simple things, you know? Like take credit cards on file. So there's so many different segments. We want to open up an education company. It'll probably be called Expandify Education or Expandify University, something like that.
Expandify University sounds good.
Right? Sounds cool. And then within Expandify University, we'll have like different like offerings, right? So we'll have like
also
digital
like
marketing skills,
like a subscription based thing.
No, I'm thinking off the bat we'll probably have a one-time fee, access into the lifetime access into the video modules.
But this is why you gotta like have that YouTube presence, because like people will see your stuff and be like, yo, I want to like buy this thing.
100%. I couldn't agree more. We need to be pushing so much more YouTube and TikTok and Reels. More video, just video in general.
Content.
Content.
Content is everything.
100%. Content is king. So we need to be pushing all that, and that will help a lot. And then we're obviously going to use our advertising skills to get people to sign up. Right? And so, targeting other digital marketing agency owners and saying, hey, are you stuck at, 5, 10 G's a month? Let's help you scale to 20, 30, 40 G's. Yeah. Right? We know how, right?
Yeah, like I get emails all the time to like scale my YouTube channel and all that stuff. But like it's just an email. It just seems so automated, So like that's why like if I feel like I see content and like a face behind it and that kind of stuff, I'll be like, oh, cool. Like,
yeah.
And what I also think is like nowadays things are becoming more niche and local. So like if somebody from your city is doing it,
especially right, you trust them even more, right?
Yeah, automatically.
Of course, yeah. And there's so many young people coming out wanting to learn these skills, right? Wanting to learn high ticket skills, right? If you have a high ticket skill, it's valuable, to the marketplace,
Yeah, it's all about specific skills nowadays. Like,
yeah. And you'd be surprised. Like I have neighbors who have come to me, like, hey, friends, neighbors, come to me and said, I'm in marketing, I'm trying to apply for this position at this company. Can you help me out? And I'd like lay everything out for them. Like this, go on this website, like download these papers, show it to them in the meeting, do the full audit thing, like come back to me next week, like, dude, I got the job. Yeah. Like, you literally helped me stand out so much. You have no idea. Thank you so much. Or I'd have people who want to come in and basically get like letters of recommendation, or people who want to like, say that they've worked at the company, right? For leverage, stuff like that, right? So you'd be so surprised how many people locally like would love to collaborate with a local business, right? To learn something or to help themselves grow or get a job or something.
So but it's just sick that like you actually like take your time and like go out of your way to show that stuff to them,
Yeah, for sure. Why not, man? I'm super open like a book, and I love helping people. At the end of the day, truthfully speaking, obviously everyone's in it for the money. We all want to make money, okay? But at the end of the day, there has to be a reason and
a purpose.
I actually love the fact that I can go to a business owner, help them scale their business, and as a result, literally make them have a better quality of life. Okay, what's an extra 10, 20K to someone who's a business owner but has a family of 3 kids and a wife at home?
Yeah.
That's a lot, dude. That allows more financial freedom for that business owner to apply directly into his life to better the life for his kids. They can eat higher quality food, go to higher quality schools, get a higher quality education, travel the world, see places, right? Now they have an extra 20 G's a month that they can spend in their family. And as a result, they're living better lives. And you literally see some of our clients say, dude, like I appreciate it so much. This made such a difference to me. You have no idea. I'm going to Greece next month. Dude, I haven't been in years. I'm so looking forward to it. This is really because you helped us scale up and gain more cash flow. And that to me is amazing.
You're always going to succeed because like, you already have like a full like reason for why you're doing it,
Yeah, for sure. There should be a good why. For sure.
There is the money. The money is important, like you said.
Yeah.
But without the purpose, like the money doesn't really mean much.
Exactly. Yeah. And you want to think to actually help people.
Exactly.
Like I'll never want to work with someone if they're not benefiting. And that's why we don't have any long-term contracts. We literally run on a month-to-month because if at any point in time you are not seeing value or you are not benefiting or profiting from our engagement, Nick and I literally don't even want to work with you. We wouldn't even want to burden you with that.
Yeah.
Like if you're not seeing results, you're not seeing progress, cut us immediately. Yeah. And I'm more than happy. I'm just as happy actually because I'm less of a burden to you. Okay. So 100% for sure.
Sick, man. Sick.
Yeah.
I like that. I'm really happy you talked about your purpose at the end because it just goes to show like even with this, like my whole thing is connecting Montrealers together, So
yeah, I think it's awesome. Cool. I think it's a really cool setup that she's got set up here, man. It's definitely a pretty similar story, right? Yeah. Starting from the ground up, man. And you obviously, start to blow it up. I think it's fucking awesome. For sure. And there's just a long way to go for both of us, right? And
I'm excited to see like where you go from here.
Yeah, I'm super excited too. There's a long way to go.
You're gonna stay in Montreal, like that's your city. You're thinking of staying here, or do you think you'll move around and stuff?
Well, most of our client base isn't even in Montreal now, man. It's all in the US.
Yeah, I mean, you could always have a place here and come here in the summers because winters.
So for sure, like I would want to still probably live here in the summer or But I think the move is eventually
The States?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Full time in the US,
Yeah.
maybe Florida or Texas or something
Yeah,
like that.
I was looking at Texas too.
You know,
Like,
land
Texas
is amazing down there, right? To invest. Florida is just a great city to be at because it's just always bumping, and we are young, so we can go out for dinner and stuff like that. It's a bit distracting, but you know, even the LA vibe is super cool. You meet celebrities like it's nothing, you know. So the connection, the networking aspect, you know, a little bit less networking opportunities in Montreal, and not
That's
fond
true.
of the weather.
Yeah.
So,
but it's also becoming a globally connected world anyways. So like,
but and then take into account taxes.
Yeah.
Living as a Quebec resident, like that in itself is enough of a motivating factor for me personally to live in the United States of America. Just because I would be 40% richer by default.
Yeah. That's insane. Like
it's insane. You're just automatically 40% richer.
Yeah.
Plus, you're charging in USD, so you're charging 35% more. Then you're saving 40% on taxes. I'm 75% richer by default living in the US.
Yeah, weird.
Is that a no-brainer? Plus, it's better weather.
Yeah.
More connections to be made.
Yeah, you're selling.
Am I missing something? Right? So it's just like, right? Why be trapped here in the winter? Can't go out. Jackets, you're charging Canadian dollars, you're getting charged 42% tax.
Yeah. I think that's the move. It's like a summer location in the future.
Yeah. So I would see myself for sure, like probably mostly full time eventually in the US, and then summer in Montreal.
Yeah, but so when is your course coming out?
So that's something we're working on.
Okay. Do you have like a date yet, or?
There's no specific date in mind.
Okay.
But it's definitely something we want to push out in 2022, probably before the end of the year.
Okay.
And we do have goals. So we want to reach a certain level in the agency to then start diverting a bit of attention out of it and open another product, so to speak. Because that we do want to have a successful push with the education company and actually hit it really well off the ground, hit it off the ground running, right? Type of thing.
Yeah.
So there's no specific time, but for sure it's coming out. That's 100%. It's going to be one of our products. It's going to be something we're passionate about, and we're definitely going to be pushing it a lot. And we plan on really helping a lot of people scale up with these different types of skills. And they're going to kind of be intertwined in a sense where, if a potential client, can't really get on our system or it doesn't really make sense, well, maybe that you should buy our education part of the company, one-time access, and then your employees can literally learn all these things themselves internally and apply for the business. Right.
So tailored to like different needs.
So it's like almost like a downsell, so to speak, right? So like if we can't physically, we can't help you hands-on in that type of relationship, it could be really good just to get the knowledge yourself and then apply it yourself type of thing.
For sure. Yeah.
So they kind of will go 2 and 2. It'll be slightly different niches, different target audiences, because we will also probably sell to other agency owners, other freelancers and marketers out there. But it's something I'm really excited about. I know for sure it'll make a difference. It'll help scale up even our business revenue 100%. It'll be a whole other leg of income coming in eventually. And we'll for sure expand our reach too, right? And it's something that we can create right now. So it's in the works. It's in the works. So we're going to come out with that. There'll be different types of things. In a bigger picture, we want to make an Expandify everything. Like literally like an Expandify.
Like everything. A network of some sort.
Like Expandify is our trademark, will be our parent company. And then underneath we'll have like the Expandify University, like Expandify Real Estate Holdings, like Expandify. Right? So all types of different companies that we will eventually start to invest in. We just want to Expandify everything. Expandify, and it'll be a word in the dictionary one day. I've always said it.
Okay, sick.
Something along the lines of like expanding to the utmost extent, growing, enlarging to the utmost extent, something like that. So the goal is to get it in the dictionary one day. Basically Expandify, the word like expand on steroids, and basically, eventually get a US trademark as well, which we'll look to do. And then just continue to branch out, scale our bread and butter, scale the agency, and then open up these different types of products, such as the education company and stuff like that. And just continue to grow and to dive into different aspects and niches and investments, opportunities,
Dope, man. I'm excited to see all that for sure.
Yeah, likewise. I appreciate it, man. There's a lot coming. A lot. We came a long way, but a long way to go. So
for sure,
I'm excited. Still a lot of growth. Yeah,
for sure. I appreciate you coming on and telling me about all this. Like, I feel like I got a lot of good information from this too.
Nice, man. That's my whole goal. I'm happy you got to hopefully learn a little something. It was a great time. I appreciate you for having me on. Super cool setup. Highly recommend people come by. And maybe we'll have another talk again soon for sure.
Awesome,
brother.